Hey guys, Joe the Auto Guy here today to show you how to replace your upper ball joint on a 99 to 2006 GM truck or SUV. In this video you're going to see a couple things that look a little weird because during the filming of this videos I actually replaced the upper, lower ball joint, wheel bearing, and outer tie rods. So these steps kind of all intertwined, but I'm showing you how to replace just the one. Okay, so one of the first things you gotta do is get the connector away from the wheel bearing circuit, which it is connected to this harness over here, and then it's actually stuck in place right there. So okay, then pry that away. I need to get the connector out of this part. There's just two pop tabs on that connector. Then this wiring goes to the side. Okay, so what we're going to do next is actually disconnect the brake caliper. It uses a T55 socket. So now we're going to move the brake caliper pins with the T55 Torx bit. Once you get them free, you might have a stuck slide. But okay, then you need to take an 18mm wrench. And these will be pretty stuck on there, so you gotta break them loose. I'm using a ratchet wrench. What I did to loosen them up, use my 18mm, and I locked my big wrench together with it to create a long extension to break it loose. Okay, set those bolts aside, remove the caliper bracket. Now the rubber is either going to be stuck on or it's going to pop off, so easy thing to do, just take a hammer in between the studs and you should break it free. Pop off our cap to expose the axle nut. So we'll just take a small screwdriver, kind of give it a wedge effect, go around. Use a twisting motion with the flat blade of the screwdriver, and it'll pop out and exposing our 36mm axle nut. So now I usually use an impact to remove the axle nut, but if you don't have one available, what you can do is use a pry bar. In this case I'm using a breaker bar. To remove it, and you can just go like this until it loosens up. and just do that. But I'm gonna get the air tool out and remove this, speed up the video. Oh, there's a 10mm bolt to hold this bracket and the brake hose on. And this just gets it completely out of your way. You don't need to worry about the caliper being here. You just lift that away. Also, there's one up here that's already been removed. So we'll take the caliper, tuck it up under. And set it away so it won't get damaged. So it's an 18mm wrench. And to free it, you just hit it right on the knuckle. To remove the 18mm nut on the tie rod end. That comes off. Take a hammer and hit the knuckle right at the joint. It pops out, just like so. Got the 24mm nut on the bottom of the ball joint. Doing that. This one ends up being a little stubborn, because again we have to hit the knuckle. Okay, so eventually with enough pounding on the knuckle, it will break free. It is just easy for me. I use a pry tool of some sort. Lift up the control arm. Get the axle up out of the way. Scrape off the surrounding gunk from the ball joint. If you have an original ball joint, there's actually no C-clip or anything holding this on. You just need to press it out. And if you have an original ball joint, there's no C-clip or anything to take off. It will just press out. So we're going to take the upper ball joint, and there's a little dot right here that points towards the vehicle. You can see there's splines, get the new one to bite in. And make sure you don't put the grease zerk in or anything yet, because you could smash it when you're pressing it in. You just set up your press. You'll see on this one we just need to press that until it's down flush with the control arm. We're seated, so you can just remove the press. So now your new ball joint is going to come with a snap ring, so you have the appropriate snap ring pliers to get this up. It's fitted to the bottom side in the upper ball joint. There's like a little groove you got to get it in. Snaps up into the bottom groove. Then you're going to put your new boot on, which is right here. And it just seats up on the first groove, and what I do is just take the ball joint cup and just kind of work it on. So I'll put the grease zerk right in the top, threads in, and it's a 7mm wrench. You need to put it the rest of the way in. Okay, so now we got our upper and lower ball joints in. What I'm going to do is put the knuckle, start to put the knuckle back on. So we're going to get the lower, put the lower side in first. Actually, the first thing to do here is get your axle back where it should be. So pry up the lower or upper controller and get that back where it needs to be. And then you're going to put your axle through, and then the upper or the lower ball joint in place. Start to put the nut on. .22mm wrench on the my new ball joint, so yours may differ. Tighten that up. Okay, I'm just getting so it's the knuckles being supported. So now to get the upper ball joint in place, see, this is going to want to fight you. You're going to have the nut ready for the ball joint. Take a pry tool, go under the frame and on the upper control arm, and just push it through. So you can get the threads on there. Alright. Tighten down the upper ball joint. A little bit. Okay, now that this is in place, you can go back and take your 15mm and really tighten this upper bolt. Push back on the axle a little bit, get your wrench in there. Just get that nice and tight, along with your other. Okay, same thing with the other. Take our 18mm wrench, and now your wheel bearing's in place. We're going to take our 18mm wrench and finish tightening down our ball joint. Again, we're just snugging up the lower ball joint on our axle nut, which gets tightened to 177 foot-pounds. I usually use a pry bar, but this breaker bar will work for me, and I use it to pin the studs at the ground for tightening. Alright, that is that axle nut torqued. Now you can take your seal or cap, lightly tap that back in place. So it's sealed up. That's what I do, is now put the bolt Okay, so now that I got the brake hose back in place, you can place your ABS connector back up. And if you got any spots where this won't go back in, or, I mean, zip ties work. Okay, so we're going to take the new rotor and slide it out. Make sure you clean any oil or residue that was on the rotor for storage purposes and come out of the package like that. Use appropriate brake parts cleaner. I just always throw a nut on just to hold that from flopping around on you. Alright, slide your caliper. Pistons are compressed. We can slide the caliper over the bracket and the pads. Get these rubber boots in place. Try to. Okay, so make sure your pins are nice and cleaned up. And you lube up the pins with appropriate brake parts lube. And these do thread into the caliper, not anything in here, as you may have seen. So I don't need to worry about that. That is everything assembled. So now what we're going to do is make sure everything is greased. Before greasing these, just make sure you're locked on. Don't need to put a ton in. Just make sure your grease boots are puffing up. Okay guys, and that's how you do it. Hope this video helped you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And also, social links are all down below in this video. I'll also have a link to tools that I used during this video to help you out, especially the ball joint press.